my name is Fiona and I'm a junior in the SFS studying international politics with a minor in French. But this semester I am in Belgium studying at Université Libre de Bruxelles, and today I'm going to take you around what a typical day in Brussels is like. So admittedly this won't be a fully typical day for me because today is Mardi Gras, and on Mardi Gras school is closed in Brussels, which is a kind of cool thing. But just real quick, I'll explain what school here in Brussels is like because it is very different to Georgia. So at what we call ULB, you are registered into a certain faculté and you're required to take 60% of your courses within that faculté. But outside of that, the other 40%, you can take anything. So as a political science major, you could take everything from biology to architecture classes. So another big difference here from Georgetown is that classes typically only meet once a week for 2 to 3 hours, which is a little grueling at first, but it's great because you can definitely create a schedule to give yourself days off to do some traveling and exploring. So the way that we do class registration here is also a little bit different. So the rest of the ULB students have their schedule decided based on their major, but as exchange students here, you can, in the first 3 weeks, go to absolutely any class, any lecture. It kind of operates as an add drop. You're not officially registered until your third week. So I think in my first 3 weeks, I went to 12 or 13 different courses, and I was able to pick my top 5, which was cool. So in all CIE programs, you are guaranteed your own room, which is pretty great. And there are 2 different styles of housing that you can do here in Brussels. One is dorm style, which is just right off campus, so it's super convenient that way. And you have basically your own room with like a kitchenette and a bathroom. Or you can do a shared apartment, which is what I chose to do. And I'm living with 3 other girls, and we're kind of more in the Brussels suburbs, but we have a whole house to ourselves, so it's pretty great. So something that a lot of people don't know about Belgium is that there are a lot of foods that are really Belgian specialties. So first stop for that is Belgian frites, which are the best fries that you will have ever tasted. Belgians eat their frites with a lot of different sauces, and they're usually mayo based. You will never go back to eating fries with ketchup, ever. So here we are with our frites.
Hello.
There's a ton of different sauces, and we have a personal goal to try all the sauces while we're here. I think I've done 5, but my favorite so far is the samurai sauce, which is kind of like a mayo with different like Northern African spices in it. So, yeah. So another important thing to know about Brussels is the weather is super unpredictable. So right now it's hailing. Another great thing about Brussels is that there are lots of little cafes and bars and restaurants all scattered around the city. So right now I'm in the Grand Place region, which is kind of the center of the city in terms of history, culture, tourism, everything. So it's great to just duck into a little cafe to wait out the rain a little bit. So I definitely didn't expect a culture shock since I've been to Europe a lot before, but living here is very different than vacation. I think probably the biggest one thing is hearing a language other than English being spoken around me all day, every day. In my own experience, I found it pretty surprising that people here seem a lot less obsessed with technology. If you go out to dinner or out at night, there's like no one on their phones, everyone's just talking, having a good time. So that's been really cool to experience and very different from the States. Honestly, food is a huge tourist activity in this town, and I would say that if you're here, you do have to try the waffles. Whether you like waffles back in the States or not, they're so different here. There's 2 different types, Liège waffles and Brussels waffles, and they're just as good as you've heard they are. Something that I definitely wanted to highlight about this program is how great it is for traveling. Brussels is super centrally located, and because there's a lot of international institutions and organizations here, like the EU and NATO, it's really easy to fly in and out of Brussels for some really good prices. Actually, a lot of times you could even be on commuter flights, which is interesting. But yeah, it's a great opportunity to travel, and like I mentioned before, it's super easy to get a class schedule that's super conducive to that. And then just that kind of general free time that you're able to get as well. A lot of my friends here have gotten jobs or internships and other really cool experiences that are definitely unique to this program. This is actually a really funny question. There are a lot of shows that I actually am not able to get here on Netflix, and Hulu doesn't exist here. But one thing is, Friends is still on Netflix here. Very, very important. This has actually been a surprise to me since I got here, that Brussels is a super green city. There's parks all over the place of all different sizes, and they're all so different. I'm so excited to explore them when the weather's nicer, but for now it's a really great city to go for runs in. Okay, so a Liège waffle is thicker in consistency, more kind of like bread-like and more sugary, not the full rectangle shape, whereas a Brussels waffle is a full rectangle shape, a lot lighter, a lot more airy, very different taste set. Okay, Georgetown, it is just after 11:30 in Brussels, so I'm going to sign off for the night. Thank you all for coming along my day with me. If you have any questions about studying abroad in Brussels, you can email me. I'll put my net ID down here. And yeah, thanks so much. Bonne nuit.